Great.
Okay,
Perfect.
I wonder if he can hear me. Can you hear me? All good?
Is my mic on?
What's up, guys? Alfredo Diaz here alongside Brian Riley and Chad James. Today we are live from Full Sail University's Hall of Fame Week. And today we are here to check out a awesome little project called Super 80s Fighter Project. Rooster Teeth is very happy to bring this to you in corporation together with Full Sail.
We got there.
Yeah, we got there.
Yeah, so essentially what the purpose of this stream is a lot of students are working on this game as their final project, and so we wanted to take a moment to kind of showcase what the project is, get you guys a chance to meet the people behind it, and how we're going to be moving forward with that.
Yeah, over the next several months, we're going to be following up with the team, giving feedback, and then later this year at RTX, you guys can all come check it out on the show floor and play it on like an awesome arcade setup.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. But all right, well, getting right into it, if you guys don't mind, go through and introduce yourselves and what you do on the project.
So my name's Ben Owens. I'm the art lead of the project.
My name is Daniel Sabogal. I'm the lead producer and the lead designer for the project.
My name is Sergio Ramirez. I'm the motion capture director.
I'm Jason Henders. I'm one of the course directors, kind of overseeing the students as they go through this here at Full Sail.
I'm Patrick Kelly. I am also a course director, and I'm in charge of the project and the students.
I'm Matthew Moody, and I'm one of the guys on the dev team for the game.
Sweet. And so I would like to ask, what is kind of like the overall final project goal here and some of the major milestones you guys are trying to hit with the game?
Well, we follow a traditional pre-production, then move to Alpha, Beta, Gold. Final project is about 4 months long for the students, so it's a compressed schedule. They use it as their final portfolio piece to go out and then show to employers to get a job.
Cool. So first thing I just want to ask you guys, it's hard. It's hard to make a fighter. One of the biggest things is balance. I'm a big fighting game player myself. So what made you guys want to take on a fighting game as your final project?
Yeah, basically because it's hard. Like everyone just makes racing games, 2D platformers. So as part of my research here in Full Sail during my master program, I've been researching esports, and fighting games are part of those esports. So during the whole pre-production, I've been researching what it takes to make a fighting game, and we're putting all of those lessons together in this project.
Awesome. Is there any kind of like sneak peeks that we have at Super 80s Fighter? Something you guys can show us? We're pretty excited. The theme itself sounds really cool.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us really quick about what your theme is that inspired it before we show up anything, and what's the game about, man?
Sure. The game, it's obviously a fighting game.
Right.
It's a 2.5D fighting game, to be more precise. We set it in the 80s because I'm a huge fan of the late 80s and early 90s martial arts movies. So those movies were the fighting is not that fast-paced. So we're trying to translate that into the game. Oh, okay. And we're trying not to implement that many projectile stuff, but more closer to real life fighting. That's where we're trying to build it.
So I can't just spam shurikens right at Chad and zone him out or anything like that?
No, you won't be able to do that.
All right, I'm going to have to go with the constant low kick strategy.
Exactly.
That might work.
Cool, so it's not just the theme of the game, but also you very much wanted it to represent the kind of fighting style of those movies.
Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, yeah. Do you guys have some stuff that you
Yeah,
can
we do.
show off a little bit?
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yes, so we have some early concept art we've prepared. We have 9 playable characters planned for the game. Each one is going to have his own or its own level.
Is Alf one of them?
No.
Alright.
But we do have a mask vigilante, so we're still figuring
be
it out.
Alf.
And can it be Alf? Can we just, unofficially, can we just say now it's Alf under the mask? All right. I'm sold.
Yeah, so the game, it all takes place in one building. And the arcade progression or the story mode progression is just going from one floor to the next.
Okay.
Right, so each level has its own theme, its own specific aesthetics, and that's how we are building the game up, basically.
And you're going to fight your way to the top of the building and then
Yeah.
ultimately fight on the helipad, which is a bar at the top.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes.
So, what are some of like the fighting styles you're looking at?
Well, basic like karate, kung fu, some Muay Thai moves. I actually practice Aikido. It's mostly a defensive martial art, but I'm trying to turn it into something that would be applicable in a fighting game. So yeah, it's a lot of different things. We're trying to make each character unique. We don't have that many characters, but we want them all to feel different. Sure.
And one of the hard things about making a fighting game is all the animations that go into it for each and every character gets exponentially huge. So one of the ways we're mitigating that is by using motion capture. And so the interesting thing is to use motion capture, you need people who can actually fight. So we had to audition all the students and
So
see
you
that
like
they
made
can
the
fight.
students fight to the death?
Yes, I made them fight.
The victors got
That's
to be in the game.
I got away with saying, okay, I want the students to fight in the class, and then the winner gets to be in a video game, and the loser just has to go home.
Great.
So, what were some of the video games that inspired you guys to start making games in general?
So for me, what inspired me to start making games was when I originally started playing video games. The first video game I ever played was Ocarina of Time. It was like
choice.
6, 7
Good
years
choice.
old. And I just remember walking up to the Deku tree with that cutscene and just being awed at that age. And from that moment forward, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and that was make games.
Cool.
I think one of the early games I played was Kung Fu Master in the NES console.
Yeah, Kung Fu. Just Kung Fu.
Yeah, exactly.
Punch,
that
and just
one.
kicking enemies off the screen.
And then after that one, I played Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo console. And for a while, I thought I was just going to be playing fighting games. But I really enjoy all sorts of games.
Interesting.
For me, my background is film, so I really like telling stories. And in video games, the player has agency, and he actually decides what he wants to do. So the whole concept of building a story that is engaging enough and emotional enough, and the player having agency on it really gets to me. So that's why I make games.
Cool.
Back somewhere in elementary school, I got a copy of God of War 2, and there was a behind-the-scenes disc that came with it, and found it really interesting, and I was like, oh, I can do that for a career. So that's pretty
Awesome.
sick.
Thanks for making me feel super old.
Yeah, elementary. Woo! Okay.
Don't try and temper it, man. The damage is done.
I feel so old.
Yeah.
Like I started playing in the Ultima series. So I
Oh,
played
yeah.
all the Ultima games with the cloth map hanging on the wall and all
There you
that.
go.
And then what really got me into kind of playing with other people, multiplayer, was playing Descent. I remember the space game. So
Nobody knows what that is.
I
man.
know.
Everyone's just like, yeah, Descent.
Okay. Our
And
students are
Marathon.
Like,
Yeah.
Our students are like, I don't know.
Marathon was a Bungie game. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about the same age as Patrick, so I kind of started way back when with Ultima and stuff like that too. You know, old Apple IIc stuff. So yeah,
RPGs,
way back then. So yeah.
Put it in the floppy disk.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Commodore,
Oh yeah.
Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the students, what is like the excitement behind creating a game? Like that must feel awesome. I mean, we just play. I just play them. you guys actually get to make and craft like this whole story, the characters, the scene.
So the experience behind it is, that same feeling I talked about playing Ocarina of Time and being in awe.
Yeah.
Like being able to work on a game and potentially have someone having the same reaction that I did, to that game that was created that long ago. So, it's a lot of fun, really interesting process, but in the end, it's about, giving everyone that experience.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a really cool experience, and it's a lot of learning. It's going from being the idea guy to the person who actually makes it. Like, if you think about it, making a game or just coming up with the concept is easy. But then we have 9 characters, and each one has around 30 moves. So we have to start figuring out which moves they are, and how they are different from one another, and what inputs they're gonna take to be performed, right?
Yeah.
And then
how they interact with each other.
How do they look? What's the background? So we actually have a creative writer involved. So there's a lot of stuff that we didn't think of at the beginning, and now we really know what it takes to make a game. So yeah, it's really cool.
One of the things I'm excited about with this partnership is watching you guys go through the whole process, and we'll be able to give feedback and stuff. So if all 9 characters make it through, that'd be great, but you guys know, you've been on it for a while.
Yeah.
Some of those babies might not get delivered.
Yeah.
That's a really morbid way to put that. But that's how it is, though. It's like, those characters, those mechanics, those kind of are your babies. And sometimes they just don't continue. And there you go. They just don't make it all the way, and that's. It'll be interesting to see how far you guys get with that.
They actually have a phrase, "Kill your baby."
Yeah,
kill your darling.
That's what Brian's looking forward to for you guys.
Yeah.
Watching your dreams, killing your baby.
Just speaking of that, what kind of hardships have you guys run into? Speaking of what kind of hardships have you guys kind of run into immediately that just kind of took you by surprise?
The main thing has been the coordination of all the different people and all the different degree programs. There's a lot of people in a lot of different departments that it's not like in one big studio where everybody's on one team. You have people who are dedicated to all these different things. So imagine at a studio if everybody was doing something else and then you were trying to distract them going, hey, come make a game with us. And so I have to meet. I have to meet with people every week and try to get them excited. And this is why you should get on this game. It's going to be really cool. And then also one of the challenges for us is that a lot of these guys are learning, so they don't have the same experience. So the level at which we can progress sometimes is completely different than in the industry. There's some things that the students do incredibly fast, and then there's some things that I would think would be a no-brainer at any studio that I worked at previously that take forever. Like the concept art is not something that they have a specific class in, so that's something that we have to kind of test people out, and they have to come in with that skill. But then there's other things like rigging and animating that they learn at the school, and they have no problem with it, so it goes really fast. So understanding what the student's skill set is and what they're capable of and what they're taught.
I'm a big fan of Toby.
Yeah, Toby is awesome.
I'm locking that character down.
Oh yeah, Toby's ready to
I'm
get
gonna
it.
master him and everything. You can tell.
That's the main baby we're looking to deliver right now.
Okay, great. You're gonna make it, buddy.
I'm glad their priority's in the right basket right now. It's in Toby.
If you're looking for more inspiration too, there's a kid out there dancing named Luke. Like that kid, anytime there's music, he's just out there dancing. We were like, we should put Luke.
There was no stage, there was music, and he was just
dancing.
Yeah, he was dancing.
We were dancing with him. It was a lot of fun. So, what are you guys most excited about with working on this project in the coming months?
For me, it's really the experience that we're getting from this and everything that we're going to learn or have learned, really, and then working with everyone and helping out other students, potentially, getting their name on a game and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward in the next 1 or 2 months in getting those 2 first playable characters in the build, so we can start actually testing out our mechanics, balancing everything out, and really pushing to get to where we are.
I'm really excited about the motion capture part because that's where film and video games converge, and those are my 2 passions. So.
Gotcha. So, balance.
Oh,
That is the thing
That's
in
gonna
fighting
be
games. So, what are your plans to address balance specifically?
We're that's why we're doing 9 characters. So we're doing them in sets of 3. So 3, 3, and 3. So we're going to balance them. The first 3 will be balanced against each other, second 3, and then the third 3. And then towards the end, we're going to balance all 9 against one another. The key to something like this, I found, is that you have to find one character, make it as fun as possible to play that character, and then have the other characters rise to meet that character. So balancing isn't about nerfing one character, it's about bringing the other ones up to meet the fun factor of that character. So,
Well, speaking of characters and assets, I think that you guys have some footage that we can take a look at.
We do,
Early
yes.
footage.
We put up a little short teaser trailer with what we've done
So
so far as the pre-production work.
you'll see some basic in-game footage of people, 2 people. It starts with, first we got one guy in the game, and he was moving and controllable, and then we started to work on his collision hitboxes.
So cool, yeah. I think we're getting
Yep.
fired up right now.
Okay.
So here's the original concept art, right? That you guys are putting together.
Yes. Yep. Okay, yep. Here's our first test of getting a guy in the game and moving around and controllable. And there's his hitboxes. So when he throws a punch, that's how you know that the collision's happening when it hits another character.
I remember we put a lot of long hard hours into it. You could basically press the button so much that your character
That's like one of my favorite these Mighty Morphin series. One of my favorite things is the weird backing bugs that come up when you're working on it. Like, sometimes I'd be
Well, I tasked the team with anytime a bug happens, I wanted them to screen grab it, to capture it, because when you go back and you look back at their bugs, they're funny. But when they're happening, they're not funny at all. Right? They're aggravating. So it's hard to kind of enjoy it as you go, because you're so focused on getting it to work properly. So they're going to capture everything, and we haven't had any really crazy bugs. Sometimes you have some stuff that gets a little wacky with the rigging, where the character, if it's not done right, can turn inside out and turn into some kind of monster gargoyle. That's always really
terrifying.
It is. It is.
And then it becomes a new character.
Short midget with really long arms.
Yeah, it looks like a T-Rex. Is what it's about.
Yeah. You find a real person, I'll say it's a T-Rex
Yeah.
with arms. I'm like,
As soon as
whoa.
they throw a punch, they turn inside out, and their arms. I'm like, ah.
See, these can all be codes in the game.
Yeah,
You can put
exactly.
in.
I was like, where do I plug in my
T-Rex.
Game Shark and
We
go
call
away
it
with it?
Vincent Van Gogh mode or something.
Yeah, exactly. Something very abstract. So, I mean, what do you guys love about doing this project while studying at Full Sail?
So for me, the one thing that I really love is taking the classes at the same time as actually working on a game, and it actually enforces everything that we learn in class, and just building upon it and building upon it. It's a really good experience for anyone that does it.
Yeah, same for me. It's like I'm focusing a lot on esports, so everything I learned that can make a game appeal more to a public, I've tried to find a way to include this in this project. I love collaborating with all the other programs in school and having to interact with different peoples, and the team is growing and growing, so we get a lot of experience dealing with a large group.
Because you guys are also working with like the music department.
Yep.
And, yeah, there's a lot more people than just are sitting here
Exactly.
involved in this.
There's the audio. We're working with film. We're working with some of the creative writing, business, all these different supporting groups that help go everything around and inside the game. Art and mocap, as you saw in there,
In development.
and development.
I was at the recruiting event a few days ago, and a lot of people, they walk up, what does it take to get a job with you guys? And a lot of that conversation is shortcutted because we just say, we're looking for you, because you're getting a lot of basically on the job training, which is what you guys just said.
Yeah, there's a lot of value in projects like this where they have actual deadlines and there's people counting on you to deliver. Even small things like we need the concept art, we need all the people on the project, we need the credits already started, all these things. These are things that they don't normally focus on when you're just doing a project with a bunch of students. They can put the credits in at the last possible second. But when you have a big project, you can't remember the people who worked on the project like a year ago, especially if they're not here anymore. So.
Yeah.
They learn a lot of real-world lessons on these projects.
Yeah, and we're super excited to be involved in the process now.
Yeah.
So like we were saying earlier, I mean, thanks so much for letting us partner up with you guys.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so over the next few months, you guys will hear more about Super 80s Fighter Project, and there'll probably be some more videos and things like that. And
definitely.
Then, again, come out to RTX in Austin, where you're going to get to play the game live. And so we're throwing that out there. So that's your deadline, guys.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
No, it's now official. Well, cool. Thank you guys so much for taking
thank
the time.
you.
Thank you
very much,
having
guys.
us.
Thank you for hanging out.
We'll see you guys soon.
Awesome.